Hey guys, welcome to tutorial number 4 of how to build a to-do app in iOS. In this episode, we are going to carry on from where we left off in tutorial 3, and we'll start getting to-dos that we've created in-app into our table view. So we'll get the data, check if it's okay, and then add it to our table. So we're continuing off from the code in tutorial 3. It's available on GitHub if you need it. So let's get started. So last episode we were printing the data into the get data from the get data method that we delegated to our add view controller. But in the add view controller we were just force unwrapping. We were basically always assuming that there would be text and it would be okay to use. We didn't do any checks, which is not good. So what we can do this time is we can do some checks. So let's say if that text equals self.dataTextField.text where, and the not sign, self.dataTextField.text with the force sign again dot is empty. Then what we can say here is we can say move the call to the delegate function in here and change it to call text. So what we've done here is we've said where the dataTextField.text is not empty because we're using the exclamation mark. See if we can get text as self.dataField.text. So then if we can, we're calling the delegate function, which is get data then with text, which we've got here. And because we've already essentially unwrapped it, we've checked that it's okay, we've checked that it exists, we don't need the question mark or the exclamation mark, then we just call self.dismiss view controller regardless of the outcome. So if there's no text, then it should just dismiss the view controller without calling the delegate function. So let's give this a try now on our simulator. Just building. Almost there. Here we go. So let's click the add button and let's click done. And we see there was nothing printed. Then we click cats, and then it's printed. So it's correctly calling the get data function when there is data to pass back, which is nice. So now let's go to the home view controller and have a look at the get data function. So what we can do now is we can start setting up the table to display the to-do notes. What we've done previously for the number of rows in the section is just return 1, which isn't right. So we're actually going to start setting up a way of storing data. So let's go to the top and let's type var table data equals. Now actually we're going to use a colon. We're going to say it's going to be an array of strings. We're just going to initialize it as an empty array. Then what we can do is we can change the number of rows in the section in the table view to table view table data dot count. So we're basically getting the amount of items in the table data array and returning that as the number of rows. Then what we can do is we can say the text label.text, we can say that can equal the item in the array that we're at. So this function here basically creates a cell for the row, and our rows are numbered in the same way that our arrays are numbered. So what we can do is we can say self.table data. Then what we can do, we can use the square bracket, index path dot row, and close bracket, because index path dot row will basically be like 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It will have the same reference point as the row where in relation to where it is in the data. So we're going to assume that the first item in the array, which will be at index 0, will be what we want to be displayed at row 0 on our table. And that's what we're doing. And now we can add the item to our so when we get the string in, we can actually add it to our table data, so we can start to display it. So we can do self.table data dot append, and then we can say data. Then we just need to make sure we reload the table view, which is pretty easy to do. We just do self.table view, no, not table data, table view reload data. We don't need to do anything more than that. So now when we run the app, we should start to see that we can populate our to-dos into the app, which is cool. Plus, enter some text, feed kitty, and there we go. So we've got one, we can add another cat, and that's it. And now we're starting to get data into our app, which is cool. Now there's a few problems with this still at the minute, even though it looks functional. Once we go to the home screen in our simulator, actually let's press the home button. I want to stop the application, then I'm going to run it again. And we should see, because we're storing the table data in an array, we should see, yeah, it doesn't persist. So in one of the upcoming tutorials, we're going to focus on persistence and how we start storing data for our to-do app so it doesn't disappear. And that'll be in one of the next tutorials coming up. So I hope you found value in this tutorial. Hopefully see you on the next one. Bye bye.